Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going behind the scenes to fill and label these shampoo bottles and get them ready for sale. If you want to see how I do that, just stay tuned. Okay, so using 91% alcohol, I'm going to make sure that I spray all of the outsides of the bottles and all of the insides of the bottles. So I'm just going to spray them down like so. And then I'm going to go back through and make sure I get some inside. So we can make sure everything is nice and clean. Okay. And then you can kind of work it around in there. It shouldn't be a whole bunch. And did some in the inside. And just make sure it gets everywhere. Now you don't have to do this, but I do just to make sure that the alcohol disperses inside. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm gonna let these air dry. I actually have an air to run, so I'm gonna let them air dry. If you don't have time to let them air dry, you can turn them upside down, let anything drain. Now, you don't wanna knock one over, so you may wanna do it one at a time. Let any alcohol drain out and then wipe off the outside. But I'm going to leave them, and by the time I get back and I'm ready to go, they'll be dry. Another thing you can go ahead and do as well is get your caps ready. So I now need 18, so I won't do more than that. I like to turn them upside down because we need to sanitize the inside of them. Okay, so again, you just want to take your alcohol and spray them all down and let them sit. Okay, so now that everything has dried, we are ready to get our product together. So I'm going to mix up my shampoo. It comes in 5-gallon buckets, so of course everything is going to settle at some point. So I'm just going to go in and give it a nice mix before I get ready to pour everything up. Now you'll see me use two different things to fill up the bottles, and that's because I'm still fairly new to filling bottles, so I just try things out to see what works. So I'll start off by using just a regular measuring cup, a larger size measuring cup. I didn't like how that went, so I ended up using a um, a glass measuring cup. So what you'll see me do here is I'm going to use several different funnels. Now, I get all of my funnels from the Dollar Tree. The Dollar Tree is your best friend. You want to make sure that you stock up on different sizes and different types of funnels if you have different products that you're filling, because they come in handy. And I'm just going to randomly place a couple in, a bottle and separate them. So the main thing you want to be careful is to make sure you don't knock anything over. Once you knock something over, it is a disaster to clean up. So be sure to be as careful as possible and to not knock anything over. I have done this several times, so I can tell you it is not anything fun to have to clean up a whole 8-ounce bottle of shampoo. Plus, you're going to waste product. So now you'll see me switch over from that smaller measuring cup to a larger measuring glass cup. And I like this a little bit better, although it's still one of those things where I feel like I waste too much product because the shampoo is very thick, so it collects on the outside of it and then it just runs down. So either way, I still feel like there's a better method out there, but for now this is the method that I use, and until I can do something a little bit better, then this is how we'll do it. So if you're starting your business off and you don't have the funds to get any fancy equipment, this is the best way to do it. So what I'm doing now is taking that smaller measuring cup and I'm filling up this the glass measuring cup. And I like this, like I said, a little bit better because I'm able to not have to dip it as many times, because each time you dip it, then there's more product on the outside of what you're using and therefore more waste. So I just fill this up and I'm able to fill up a few bottles, with once I fill it up, I can use a few bottles. I can fill up a few bottles, excuse me, with that one full cup. It's also good to have a spatula close to you because you can kind of combat some of that product that's dripping on the outside of it by just knocking it either back into the bucket or using the spatula to push the product down into the funnel so you don't have so much dripping out. You'll see if you pay attention to the smaller measuring cup that's in the back, the white one, all of the product that was on the outside of the measuring cup, has now settled onto the towel. So that's just product that you're wasting. So whenever you can, use your spatula to get some of that product off of the outside. I will say that this by far is my least favorite thing to do, filling bottles. And that's mainly because I haven't found a surefire way to keep me from spilling and wasting, and it's time consuming. But so when I get ready to do it, I always try to make sure I do as many as I can so that when I don't run out as fast and I don't have to fill bottles as often. So that's pretty much how I fill the bottles, and as you can see, it drips, and I just absolutely hate that. But right now, it's something that I'm trying to figure out. So if you have any suggestions, just let me know. But this is how I'm doing it for now. One more quick thing to point out is those bottles that you see that are overfilled or the product comes up to the top, I'm going to use them to top off some of the ones that didn't get as full so that there's not a lot of waste at the end once I put the caps on. So you'll see some that's really full to the rim. I'll eventually pour some of that product into another bottle. So now that everything is nice and full and I've topped everything off, I'm gonna go in and wipe down the rims of my caps. I'm sorry, the rim before I put the caps on, because you don't want the rims to be sticky. So I wipe those off and proceed to put in the caps on and making sure everything is closed and secure. Because in this next step, we're gonna take all of these bottles and I like to use this milk crate because it has holes everywhere and the water can drain off. And I'm just gonna put everything in the milk crate and take it to a water source or the sink and make sure I clean up my area, because when I bring it back, I'm gonna be labeling, so I want to make sure my area is nice and clean and ready for me to come back to. So I'm just cleaning everything up as I prepare to go to the sink. And I'm just going to rinse everything off. Again, I put the whole thing in the sink and just rinse them down. Make sure your caps are closed. You don't want to accidentally, spray water and get water into your product. So make sure your caps are nice and closed. But so I'm gonna go ahead and dry everything off. So I'm gonna get my towels and everything ready so that I can dry everything off, because obviously you can't put your labels on if they're wet. So get your nice clean towel and get all of the bottles dried down. So now that everything is dry, I'm going to load them back into my crate, and we're going to proceed to the labeling process. So I'm going to get out my labels, and I get my labels, I order them from Avery directly, and then I take them to my local office depot and have them print them out. I think this has been the easiest way for me so far, because I don't want to purchase a large quantity of labels, and it turns out cheaper than the other sites that I've checked out. So I kind of like to do it that way. It's a little more manual, and if you don't have an Office Depot or Office Max close to you, then it may be easier to just have them printed and sent to you. But I like to go in and have them printed out manually until I get to a level where I want to buy them in more bulk. But this gives me a little bit more control, and I can get, I don't have to get a bunch done at a time. So if I need to tweak my labels or make changes, I can always do that and then just go back in and have a new set printed. So this is how they look after they have been labeled, and I'm going to proceed to put them where I hold on to my products, and they'll be ready for when I get ready to sell. So from this point, I can put price tags on them, and then I just store them here until I'm ready to use them or to sell or to ship out, whichever way. So that's pretty much it. I'll be posting more videos concerning things that I do with my small business. And if you have any questions or concerns, just let me know. And I appreciate you guys for joining me. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Definition.